Well, if you're one of those fans of TikTok, you probably remember something that happened back in July of this year. It was a concert. It was happening at Gillette Stadium featuring a group called Coldplay. Chris Martin is their lead singer. One of the things they do on this concert is they use a kiss cam, the one that goes around and takes shots of people. And as it turns out, Mr. Martin uses that and taking shots of folks. And turns out, took a shot of a couple. And the couple were, well, very surprised, genuinely embarrassed. The gentleman involved in the couple, suddenly he takes his hand off this lady he'd been hugging, disappears, and the lady stands there for a moment, and suddenly she's shocked and she ducks out of the frame. Mr. Martin standing on stage with all the people to see, because keep in mind, this is at a big concert. Take a look at this. This is what it looks like. So he says, well, they're either very shy or they're having an affair. Something to that language. Well, that's what happened at the Coldplay concert. Ultimately, then after that entire event, well, it blew up on TikTok and it went everywhere virally. You could see it on TV stations. It was in the news everywhere. Matter of fact, you couldn't hardly go anywhere. That story wasn't there. So they investigated who the people were. Turns out the gentleman was a gentleman by the name of Andy Byron. He was the CEO of a company called Astronomer. The lady, as it turns out, her name was Kristen Cabot. She was the HR director of the same company. So you have the boss and the HR director, who, by the way, at the time, were not married to each other. Now, here's what we learned. What we learned is she's 53 years of age and she was in a separation from her second husband. Mr. Byron was also in a separation from his wife. And apparently the two had gotten along and commiserating about their personal situations. And, well, one thing led to another. She was going to go see this concert, this Coldplay concert. So she invites Byron as her, at one to come out. So you were going to just come with my buddy, because she said, I want to introduce you to my friends. They go to the concert in a VIP suite, no less, where they're served by people selling, alcohol. And she and Mr. Byron consumed some tequila drinks, I think called High Noons. I don't know what they are. But things got a little lovey-dovey at that point. So there they were at the concert, and she took his arms and wrapped them around her while standing there watching the concert, thinking everything's in private. Well, obviously it wasn't. Camera hits them, suddenly everything blows up. Now, what happened was this woman, Miss Kristen Cabot, who's 53, she was called everything from a slut to a home wrecker to a gold digger to an arm piece to a cotton candy to you name it. She was called everything. She ends up she resigned from the company she was working for, even though after the investigation, the company invited her back to her job. Now, the CEO, on the other hand, he was put on leave and then ultimately resigned the company. He's gone, jobless. Well, she said, I can't do it. I can't go back to the company. I've lost my reputation. People laugh at me and they know who I am. Well, here's the worst part of this story. And this is what kind of bothers me a whole lot. She was doxxed and swatted. Now, what that means is her address was given out, her phone number was given out, and she received multiple threats, death threats, folks. They said, they were saying she received hundreds of calls. She said now somewhere between 60 and 90, calling this person every single thing you could think of. Now, she said, admittedly, she made a big mistake. She says, I did it. I was wrong. Couldn't believe I let myself do it, but I did. But, hey, they were talking. Each had a problem. Each being separated from their spouses and commiserating. Call it what you will. So she invited him to go to this concert. He didn't invite her. So there she is. People are threatening with death threats. And I mean, I know where you shop. I'm coming after you. Now, she's got kids, age like 14, somewhere in that age group, young kids, but they're teenagers. They're scared because they think their mom could be killed by somebody. We live in a society now where this is what we do. We've got trolls out there calling people, contacting people so they can dox people and swat people, threaten their lives. This is what happened to this woman. Now, she's come out She's talking. The piece was written in the New York Times. You can see some of what she had to say. But when we're down to the point of saying we don't like what somebody did, especially the woman, I don't know what happened to the man. I know he's gone. I don't know what he's doing now. But she's now unemployed. And she was kind of just cloistered away hiding because she was afraid for her life. When we reach this sort of situation in America, that people can do that simply because they don't like decisions someone made. You're living in glass houses, folks. Don't be throwing stones. But because she was seen on TV, she was seen on TikTok, social media can be a death knell for a lot of people, the bane to their existence. That's what this is, apparently, in my opinion. Do I think she will try to come back, Miss Abbott? Well, hopefully she does. I don't know what she's going to do. She can't go back to her old company and may not be able to get a job anywhere because her name's out there for history. Anywhere, hey, I'm Kristen Cabot. Somebody's going to look it up and say, hey, yeah, she's the Kiss Cam girl. Her life has been destroyed. Did she make a bad choice? She admits it. But keep in mind, she was at the time separated. And at the time, Mr. Andy Byron, the CEO of Astronomer, was also separated. Two lost people. And they found whatever it is in each other. But as a result of a guy, I'm going to say Chris Martin, Coldplay, putting the Kiss camera on them, and they were the unlucky ones to be seen. Now, did they act responsibly when that camera hit them? You can argue that. You could say, oh, the guy suddenly throws up his hands and leaps away from the frame so nobody can see him. And she's standing there and she ducks down. If they would have just waved to the camera, hey, how are you? Well, that'd been better. But Chris Martin said either they're very shy or they're having an affair. And that's the way America took it. That's the way America understood it. And yet they were threatening her life ultimately. And now she's just trying to come back and return to society in hopes that her name will be lost in history. It won't. This will carry on with her the rest of her life. This is what happens in social media, folks. And this is what happens when you're out in public and think nobody sees you. But the camera does. And a camera can destroy your life in just a few seconds. And now, you know.